with somebody named Lamar showed up at the Ravens practice today or yesterday, and apparently it was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I mean, he showed up to what he's supposed to show up to, and that's huge news. He didn't show up to something that he didn't need to show up to, and that was also huge news too. And you had to wonder what kind of leader is he, and what does this mean for the team? I'll tell you what it means for the team. It tells you that they're not looking good. if you have to worry about one man showing up to voluntary practice, right? If you're worried about that, because I heard Kadri, man. Shout out to Kadri Ishmael, man. I like to do, but I got some issues with a couple of things he said. But it ain't just him. But they're just like, hey, look, you're supposed to be the leader, and it says a lot if you're not there. No, it just says it's voluntary, and he doesn't have to be there. Okay, I know you got a lot of young players there that are trying to get build a rapport with him and get the reps in. But whose fault is that? Why do we have so many young players there that are just now, trying to learn how to play football, right, or learn how to play in the league? Who put that team together? Was that Lamar? Did Lamar say, get all these guys on the team, right? And I'm not going to be here to help develop them. Or did he say, I need some help? And they're like, I got you. I got you. We got this guy named James Prochet. Okay. He's the best route runner. He's got the best hands. We got Tylan Wallace. We got Devin Duvernay, right? All of them combined for less than 1,000 yards in their career and 2 touchdowns. Okay. That's what they have. Okay, so
less than 600 yards, I believe.
Well, look. To be fair,
less than a Darius Slayton.
To be fair, if you average Rashad Bateman, if you average Rashad Bateman, then they have 1,100 yards too.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But okay, fine. You want to go with a younger squad? It's not Lamar's job to develop them. That's the coaching staff's job. He don't need to be there, and it's voluntary. What are you doing at voluntary? Nothing. OTAs ain't really mandatory either. Let's be real about that. If Lamar said, I'm not showing up to mandatory OTAs either, they would say no problem. And I wouldn't have a problem with it, and it wouldn't be a problem. It's not an issue.
Michael Pierce is doing right now.
Yes, I forgot about Michael Pierce.
Yeah, that's true.
I forgot about Michael Pierce. But okay, we'll let our guest speak. Keeping it real. Oh, we got a donation. Okay, shout out to OTR Mike. Our brother says, "Hello, Mike. Kids. The best nation is a donation." Hashtag FTK. I'm not gonna tell you what.
If you don't know what FTK is, it's F them kids.
I'm about to say, if you don't know what it is, then consider yourself lucky. You don't have any.
Yeah, but keep it real. What's your thoughts on the whole Lamar coming to OTAs or minicamp story?
Well, I mean, it's the biggest story going on in the NFL right now. I mean,
it is.
Lamar,
it
really is.
Sadly.
Even though being sarcastic with this, it really is. Because Lamar Jackson, a quarterback, showing up to minicamp, which is mandatory, but him choosing not to show up to OTAs, which is voluntary. That is apparently something big. That is something we really got to look at. Oh my God. I remember when the reports started coming out of him not being at OTAs, the amount of narratives that the media was trying to push about him potentially holding out. And that's why he's not there. He's holding out. He's not happy with what the Ravens have done. All this other stuff. When in reality, Lamar was probably just working with his personal trainers and just chose not to go because, again, it is voluntary. And you don't even really do much in OTAs. It's basically a team organized workout. There's not much you're really doing there. If you want to show up, cool. If you don't, it is what it is. It's not something that should be majorly if it's not a requirement, it's not really that serious. And the fact that it was being pressed like that, it just showed that the media really wanted to push something, As long as it's Lamar Jackson and as long as it's dealing with his contract situation, which will continue to be pending until he does get a contract, they will find every which way to turn some small thing into something huge because they really thought this man was not going to show up. And it's been a wild ride watching how the media is turning this whole situation. But in terms of Lamar actually showing up, I mean, that's great. Him showing up. I've said it in my video. When you got your franchise guys showing up, you can just tell the energy in the room just changes. You know, everything gets elevated. The fan base gets elevated. The team, the teammates, the coaching staff, the personnel, everybody there at that facility, everything elevates when your franchise guy is there. And they even spoke on it too. You know, Lamar being in the building, there's a different energy there. So it's great to have him back out there working with his guys, just putting in the work. And from what we've seen so far, it's only been 2 days, obviously. They'll still have to do it tomorrow. And good news, we'll get to hear from Lamar Jackson tomorrow. So I'm interested to see what he's got to say. I know the media will be watching, but I would just say it's just nice to have him back there. In terms of the OTA situation, it really wasn't a huge deal. The media just wanted to push that because they're constantly focused on him not having a contract. But in terms of him being here, I'm glad he's here. He seems to be in good shape. He seems to be throwing the ball well. Mark Andrews talked about him having more zip in the past, and he's really throwing it now. And
because he's jacked now.
He's jacked. Oh yeah, he's got muscles. You can see pictures of it. It's like rookie year Lamar, and then Lamar now. There's a clear difference.
So I want that's the next thing I want to talk about. But first, let me give a shout out to our brother Ferris for the $50 tip, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ferris.
Says practice. We talking practice, not a game, not a game. But practice.
Yeah.
All right.
And to your point too, keeping it real about the energy being different, that man, last year in Carolina, when Cam showed up, when they signed Cam, mid-season, the fan base and the team and everybody went from, man, this season's over, I don't even want to watch these games, to immediately, like the next day, hadn't even seen him play yet. The next day, we might make the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
it didn't happen, but yeah, it changes the way you feel. It changes everything.
Listen, I thought the sky was the limit when they got Cam back, but that's also why, again, I don't like to write Cam off, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago. I think they should bring back Cam, right? If you're looking at Baker Mayfield, you should bring back Cam, because if anything, Cam is going to sell tickets. He's going to put butts in the seat. Like fans were done. That was it last year. Like you guys knew you weren't going anywhere. It was over as soon as they signed Cam. Everybody was right back in it, right? Like they're right back in it. You want to sell this season? Even look, if Cam doesn't have anything left, he doesn't have anything left. But he is a hometown favorite over there. Let him try one more time and finish out his career as a Panther. Fans will get behind that. They're not going to get behind Baker, or they damn sure ain't going to get behind Sam Darnold. All right.
No. So,
but wait, the Lamar Jack situation. I want to talk about this because I brought up Kadri Ishmael earlier, and I saw his tweet. I should have screenshotted it so I could put exactly what he said. But long story short, he was criticizing it a little bit. He would try to say he wasn't. He was making an observation. You were throwing a little shade, man. Basically saying the extra muscle and everything is going to slow him down a little bit, right? He said like it's not necessarily a good thing that he's getting jacked. And then he went into his long explanation about the type of workouts and muscle groups that he's working and all this stuff. And somebody asked him like, do you know his routine? Do you talk to his trainer or whatever? And he basically tried to do the, oh well, you guys thinking I know, but you didn't answer the question. Do you know what his whole routine is, or are you just looking at some of the stuff that we're seeing online and just kind of making your drawing your opinion from that? Now, to be fair, you might know. I mean, like, he's plugged in. He might know, right? But my thing is this: if these things slow him down a little bit, so what? He has a stronger arm, right? And so what if it slows him down in terms of athleticism? He's a quarterback. Why are you so hyper focused on what he can do with his feet? He is one of the top passers. If you believe in him, why are you so worried about the other stuff? He's getting a stronger arm. They say so far he's looked great in practice, right? He's got more touch on the pass. Those are the things that you should be focused on. But the reality is, there are a lot of people that pretend that they're Team Lamar, but low key they just don't believe in him as a passer. And our thing is, if you don't believe in him as a passer, you shouldn't want him on the team.
And Anonymous is pointing this out, kind of saying, will Mr. Jackson be more vocal on running less? And he has been already saying he doesn't want to run as much. He is a quarterback. He doesn't want to be out there running QB power every other play, and he shouldn't. it's fine to add on muscle, add on bulk, and be able to kind of take the hits a little bit better. He hasn't finished the last couple of seasons, or he's finished hurt the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
I think in terms of him running, if he loses a little speed, he's still the fastest guy out there, first off. But as you're saying, Jose, the more important thing is you shouldn't be running him the way that you are.
Right.
It's past time to transition out of this baby's first offense with Greg Roman and get a real coordinator in there and see where Lamar can take you.
They rely on him to be the main rushing attack. That's why I say we don't have a great run system. I don't even call it a good run system. We have Lamar Jackson. And if Lamar Jackson isn't running the ball, we don't look like anything, and that's why people like Kadri, people are looking at it like they're trying to make sure he's not doing anything to lose that speed, because he's the one that they expect to break a big play, not J.K. Dobbins. Although I expect more out of J.K. Dobbins. I think he can be really good if you give him the ball, but we don't really expect that from J.K. Dobbins to break out big runs. We definitely don't expect that from Gus Edwards, right? If they do, that's just an added bonus. But we're not going into the season saying you guys got to be some playmakers. We expect you to be playmakers. You expect Lamar to be the playmaker and everybody else to eat off of Lamar. So, thoughts? Keeping it real.
Yeah, I agree
on his bulkiness.
I agree with both your takes. I don't see how this would be a negative. Him putting on muscle to take those shots will definitely help, because last year he got hurt in the pocket. The year before he got knocked out in the divisional round. So him adding on muscle will help him take those hits. And even if he loses a little bit speed, so what? He's probably going to be he's going to be the fastest guy out there, so it's not going to matter. And even if he does lose that speed, he's not trying to run. Lamar has been very vocal about this. He wants to throw the football. He wants to throw the football. He doesn't want to have to continue to rely on his legs. He only runs when he needs to, but he's not trying to be out there running all the damn time. So I just don't see it as a negative. And I agree with another one of your points where you guys were talking about the Ravens. Just the run game. The run game, there is no system. It's just Lamar. And I've pointed to that over the last couple of years as to why there are people that don't believe in Lamar Jackson's ability to throw the football. It's year 5 at this point. Either you believe he can consistently throw the football or you don't. Do you believe in his ability to throw or do you not? It's year 5. You got to make a decision. And a lot of people don't believe in it because they see him running all the time. So I sat back and said, well, this is the Ravens' fault for that. I got to put it on them. You guys are the ones that prioritize his legs over his arm. So when everybody's seeing him take off this time and he's your main guy in the running game, what is anyone supposed to believe? It's hard to gain that trust in his ability to throw. We've seen his capabilities, but when you're using your quarterback as your primary runner in your running system, it's hard for anybody to sit back and say, you know what, that guy can really throw the football. He has a talent. He showcased it. We've seen the performances. But when your quarterback is your main function of your running game, it's hard for people to believe that he can throw the way Ravens fans have spoken of it. So I look at the Ravens and say, what are you going to do? If you believe in his ability to throw, it's time to evolve this offense that you keep talking about. We're going to evolve it. You said it the last 2 years. At some point, when is it going to click? The Ravens need to prioritize his arm and move away from his legs. You have J.K. Dobbins. You have Gus Edwards. We don't expect them to be explosive in the run game, but we expect them to be effective when they're on the field. And they should be the ones taking over the run game, not Lamar. So in terms of him bulking up, I'm fine with it. It just shows he's trying to get himself protected more to take those hits. And him getting a stronger arm is only going to help him in the deep passing game. So I like that too. As for them using him in the run game, I hope they are looking to move past that, because you can't keep using the system that he's been running in year 2, year 3. It's not going to help at this stage.
I agree.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you to Anonymous
shout out to
for
Anonymous.
the donation. He said, does Harbaugh trust Mr. Jackson as an elite passer? And I honestly don't think so. And I've said many times that the fact that they bring back Greg Roman tells you that as an organization, they don't believe in Lamar Jackson as a passer. They believe he's a great player. He's a great football player, that he's a great leader. They probably even believe that they can win a Super Bowl with him, but they don't believe that he's on the same level as guys like Mahomes and Rodgers and those types of players, because they're using this Greg Roman thing as a crutch, right? They don't, if they take away Greg Roman and they bring in somebody who's going to be more pass oriented, they really don't believe that Lamar will be able to execute it.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I mean they depleted the O line from 2019, and they're just now trying to repair that. The wide receiver group was never really anything special, and you got rid of your best wide receiver, right? People look, I love Rashad Bateman, right? I have high expectations for Rashad Bateman, but he hasn't proven anything yet. And I'm not going to go out there and say, oh, he's already better than Hollywood. Man, look, we'll see, right? I mean, I think Hollywood's going to have a really good year playing with Kyler Murray. We didn't mention Kyler Murray either, but Kyler Murray showed up to his OTAs as well. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't think they've really shown that they believe in him as a passer, which is why I'm glad that he won't talk to them about an extension. Make them sweat. Make them think about all the things that they could have possibly done wrong to where he doesn't feel comfortable extending. Now, in the end, I think it just comes down to I'm just going to wait to get the most money I could possibly get. But they're definitely like you have to be nervous, right? John Harbaugh's job is tied to this. Okay, EDC's job is tied to this. If Lamar walks, they're all finished. They're all finished. Mark my words. If Lamar walks, they might as well just pack up and just be like, hey, where are you moving to? I'm moving too, right? Like they're not going to survive that. So they have to be looking at everything and saying, how can we make him feel more comfortable? In fact, they said that, right? They asked him, like, what do you need us to do? And he said, fix the O-line. Obviously, fix the O-line, protect me. But damn, man, get him some weapons, right? And I see. I mean, I go down to the whole Prochet thing. Go man says Prochet a beast. Okay, Prochet a beast with this 200 yards career. Sancho Mack, exactly, man. Lamar losing speed from 4.25 to 4.3. This is nothing. Yes, exactly. Also, I don't even think it's a matter of Lamar's just trying to bulk up. I think, was he 26, something like that? 27?
27. Yeah, 27.
27. What's happening is he's growing into his man body, right? Like that happens to every player that gets into the league. They after a few years, they grow into their grown man body, and this is just him transforming into that. You expected him to be just skinny college kid Lamar his whole career? No, of course not.
Well, yeah, he's hitting his physical prime.
Yeah,
so, he's bigger, stronger, and like that, he may be faster.
I saw him running with those weighted vests. I was just like, man, like how fast are you trying to run there, bro? Like,
so Danity had a comment here, so we can kind of transition just into the general OTA talk. He said, talk about a wolf in sheep's clothing finally getting his walking papers after carrying a bear on his back.
Yes, talking about Derek Wolfe. Derek Wolfe. Yes.
Derek had a hip surgery or a second hip surgery, and the Ravens didn't really appreciate it, I guess, and they settled with him, so he's gone. But yeah, the pictures of him out in the woods carrying a bear were probably, I mean, I'm sure it had nothing to do with it, right? Like, he was fine to do that. And this is just a separate thing that he needed to get done, but it's not a good look. It's not great optics. I'll say that, to be carrying a bear out in the woods and be like, nah. I'm too hurt to practice.
Yeah. Look, I mean, that's a non-story. We never really expected Derek Wolfe to come back, right? From the press conferences that they had in the offseason, when they talked about him, they just, Harbaugh said at one of his press conferences, I hope he comes back. He said something to that effect, meaning they don't expect him to be back. Like they just knew he was going to be with the team. So that was just, that was nothing. I didn't care about him hunting a bear. It was funny, right? It was funny, but he was never actually going to be a part of his team. What does bother me is Michael Pierce not being there, because I think they said something about him getting into shape, right? Or he wasn't. No,
that was Marcus Williams. Is there getting in shape?
Oh Lord!
Yeah.
Pierce $70 million and he's not in shape.
Michael Pierce is absent for personal reasons. They're not elaborating on what it is, but they know why he's not there.
Okay. Yeah.
And they sounded a little annoyed about it, but it is what it is. It's whatever.
Look, you got personal business to take care of. You got to take care of it. You don't have to explain to us. Why isn't Marcus Williams in shape?
Because it's company time right now.
Because what?
Okay. Because it's company time. You don't work out on personal time. They didn't pay him $70 million to get in shape last month. They're paying him $70 million to get in shape now.
Listen. Marcus Williams better not screw this up. All right. I like Marcus Williams.
What does it matter if he screws it up? They'll blame it on Lamar anyway. He knows that.
I mean, that is true.
But keep it real. What have you anything that has caught your eye out of OTA so far, or minicamp, I guess?
Well, I mean, you mentioned it, Marcus Williams. I hope he gets himself in shape, because come training camp, they do a lot of tests over there in Baltimore. If you're not in shape, they will know. They will definitely know. They will put you to the test, and those tests are been known to be brutal. So get yourself together, bro. But other than that, I've seen a lot of people talk about Pepe. He's been making some plays, and they've liked what they've seen from him, and I think he's been great so far. Other than that, not much really to speak on. Mark Andrews is still Mark Andrews. You got guys going out there making plays. Haynes, Haynes as well. Haynes he's been making plays, and he's been making an impact early on here in minicamp. So that is a good thing to see. Hayes, Dalen Hayes. Yeah, Hayes, he's been making plays here in this, year 2 for him. He's making plays, and that's what you want to see. You like seeing the development. And other than that, everything's pretty much what I expect. Everyone going out there and doing what they got to do, taking care of business.
Now, what I want to know is, we see J.K. Dobbins out there at least stretching, doing individual stuff. I don't think Gus is out there yet. Imam Marshall was there today, And I gotta say this, man. This man has not been cut yet.
They found him.
He must be something special, right?
I guess so.
You know what I'm saying? Look. This might be the next. This might be the next Deshaun Elliott, because Deshaun Elliott was hurt for a long time, and they're like, we're keeping him. And when he got out there, he didn't disappoint. He played well. I feel like this might be a second coming of Deshaun Elliott.
Hell no, we're not paying you.
They're like, pay you? No,
pay you?
No way. Yes, Imam Marshall was present, but who we didn't see is Ronnie Stanley, right? And I don't expect him to be out there, but training camp starts in just a few weeks. After OTAs is wrapped up, training camp is only like 3 weeks, I think, away, or 3 or 4 weeks away from that. Will he be present for that? Right? Because they say he's progressing pretty well, and that he should be taking part at least summer training camp, right? Or is he going to have to just start out on the PUP list? That's what I want to look out for in training camp. Is he going to be able to make it back for at least the back end of training camp? He doesn't have to play any games, but is he at least going to be able to go out there and practice? Because if he misses all training camp and he's got to start on the PUP list, then, we're not going to see him for probably the majority of the season, if we're being honest. That's something that nobody's really talking about, because he's missed, all of last year. If he put him on a PUP list, he's missing at least 6 games. He's got to, come back, practice, get into shape. So he's going to miss even more games. So we might not see him until like week 9, But if they're saying he's good enough to attend training camp and at least go out there, do individual stuff, that's going to be looking good, right? He might be coming back sooner rather than later. So that's something I just wanted to point out, because we need him.